what would have thought, but not just ban it.
Well, Fiddlesticks, Lee Sin, Cassidy, like, we've been seeing a lot of those bans this entire weekend, but as like, I really am hoping to see some of that Mexican flavor because this is a team that we were talking about a bit earlier. They've improved so much since last time we saw them in the international scene.
Absolutely. At the international wildcard, which Team Immunity and Dark Passage also were represented at WCG played in, Lyon Gaming was the last place team there. 1 place below Dark Passage, and 3rd place was Team Immunity at that event. At this event, however, all guns blazing 4-0 right off the plane, as you said. 3rd place here, even the last of the prize pool spot, $10,000 of course, is on the line for this match. We'll have to see how it goes.
Well, I also see a Ziggs ban coming out from World Elite, and the last time I saw Lyon Gaming playing, they had a Ziggs mid. Like, they had a really good Ziggs setup. I believe that was, I believe I was watching UCAS, but they had Ziggs and then like Sona. So Sona would get off crescendos right into Zig ultimates, and I thought that was extremely clever of them.
And as I was saying before, Ziggs is very strong on this patch. He clears minions so fast that you can manipulate minions in multiple lanes with that ultimate, with that Mega Inferno Bomb. But he is prone to assassins, and Messiah, you know, you can play the Zed or the LeBlanc against Ziggs, and he will struggle. But just banning it out shows the respect to Uri here, saying that, okay, we know we can play champions to deal with Ziggs, but why don't we just ban it to make life easier?
And Renekton Annie on top of that. We saw a lot of Annie in games number 1 and 3 there of the China versus China. But again, another pickup here from Lyon Gaming that is really not that out of the ordinary here at WCG 2013. Shyvana.
And the Blitzcrank Big X, a lot of flavor to this match. Fizif, he's been more the passive supports here, but the Blitzcrank trying to take the game into their own hands. Blitzcrank versus Sona is a classic matchup in the bottom lane, where if Sona can get levels, specifically pick up that Ruby Crystal and get a bit tankier, she's happy to poke behind minions and really do damage to that melee champion Blitzcrank. But if Blitzcrank gets those early grabs, he can really influence the lane.
So if Celia picks up Gragas here, this will be my first time actually watching Team Mexico with a Gragas. Again, I've only ever seen him on that Ziggs, but as a banned champion, you really can't get around that. Vi is a repeat jungler we've seen now from Lyon as well.
And the displacement here is going to be super powerful. But look at this last pick forecourt. The Messiah Twisted Fate is being locked in once again here. The matchup against Gragas is a bit of a tentative one there, just because Gragas, once he hits level 6, has so much burst if he's ever able to get on top of Twisted Fate. But Messiah on Twisted Fate all tournament has looked very, very powerful.
Well, Messiah, we hush in reverent tones. I mean, he can really do some good work with that Twisted Fate. I believe I saw him on a Twisted Fate a little bit earlier on in this series. So, you know, some extreme power coming that way of the mid lane. But Blitzcrank, this is my first game here in China where I've actually got to see Blitzcrank. He has been a ban a few times in the tournament. I've never actually seen anyone even bother trying to pick him until right now.
I mean, he's the king of the pick comp. If you have Blitzcrank, if you get that Rocket Grab, there's no ability in the game that's quite like taking one enemy, one of their teammates, putting them right into the middle of your team, and the focus fire bringing them down. It can be so powerful, but it's so difficult to lane Blitzcrank, because in a 2v1 situation, Blitzcrank, you think he might be quite strong. He has fairly high base AD. He has an ability that allows him to do double AD, even to structures. But as a melee champion, whenever you walk up to auto a turret, you get preyed upon. Whether it's a Shen will taunt you into the turret, whether it's the enemy support that will do a lot of damage to you. 2v1 situations never favor melee support, and that's why Blitzcrank has largely fallen away.
Well, we have been seeing a lot of Thresh, a lot of Annie, a lot of Fiddlesticks in and amongst this tournament. So how does a Thresh kind of compare to a Blitzcrank in that regard?
I mean, Thresh has a ranged auto attack. That's the big thing there. When it comes to turret pushing, so much safer to auto attack a turret, move away. You always see AD carries all block, which means they walk in, they get a hit on the turret, then they use the time between their next attack to move away from the turret, just in case the gank's coming, just in case some aggression is coming. You don't have that option as a melee champion just because of that lack of range. So Thresh, a very similar kit. Obviously the Dark Passage brings something very spicy to a team that you can't get, the Blitzcrank can't offer. But the Rocket Grab, as an ability, one of the strongest in the game.
Well, we are going to be loading into the game here momentarily, folks. Again, 3rd place seed. This is for literally...
So we're loading into the game here. As you said, forecourt, $10,000 on the line for the winner here. Only 3 paces played. very places paid at WCG, so a lot on the line here. World Elite also, the hometown crowd is here. We see still some people around the stage here supporting World Elite. They want to see the hometown crowd come in strong, pick up the win here. Messiah on Twisted Fate, what more could you want from a World Elite team?
Well, I mean, we did just see a whole bunch of games there from World Elite. They are going to be there on Chain Purple, and Fizziv on that Blitzcrank. Definitely going to be a highlight here for us. But, Clear Love on Elise, we saw that in game number 1 of the OMG versus World Elite matchup. But we also had Kalmei on Kennen. So with a Kennen pickup there, and we got that Lucian, got that Blitz, is it for sure going to be a 2v1 already?
I mean, it's always we have to wait to see how the lanes finally gel out as we see a pause come in once again here. I mean, the Kennen pickup, that's one of Xiaomei's strongest champions. When World Elite were at the top of play, he would play that Kennen. In a lane matchup against Shyvana, if we do see a 1v1, he has that ranged auto attack. He can harass her out of lane early in the game, but once the Sunfire Cape, specifically once the Giant's Belt is completed, much more difficult for Xiaomei to do that in the 1v1. In a 1v2, Kennen can confidently start Doran Blade with a couple of lifesteal quints, last hit at the turret, do just fine, and then of course we all know that Kennen transitions into a teamfight general late in the game.
Yeah, and we saw the power of that in the game number 1 of the semifinals. I mean, Kennen and Fiddlesticks put together those all-encompassing AoE ultimates were just devastating up against World Elite. So World Elite this round, I mean, they got a fairly solid roster. We get Kennen, Elise, Twisted Fate, Lucian, and Blitz. But, Shyvana on Porky, I haven't really been able to see anyone kind of win trades off against Shyvana this entire tournament.
We see the zoom coming out to Wei Zhao on the screen there. Wei Zhao and Messiah, the very famous carries from World Elite. Those comfort picks will come in, and it's always about Twisted Fate when we see Messiah on that champion. It's that first use of Destiny. If at level 6, the Destiny comes out, a little skirmish is won, an objective is taken, World Elite always get the balls rolling. They almost never lose in those sort of a situation. But however, if it doesn't go successfully, the team and the game might look different here, as we see potentially a 5-man invade coming out of Lyon Gaming.
I'm curious if Uri's actually just going to throw off a barrel, but that was a fairly dangerous move just to show himself there. And as you can see, a ward did go down, so any kind of invade there is going to get denied from Lyon Gaming. And Lyon Gaming up against Team World Elite, this is a team that has now faced off against the Koreans and now facing off against the Chinese, and we had nothing but praise for them back in the commentary booth. So coming off of their loss from Team OMG, is World Elite in the right mindset to go up against Lyon?
I mean, it's very difficult to say, absolutely. I mean, that's the disadvantage of playing the second semi-final on this last day of competition, is that loss is still very fresh in the minds of World Elite. They will still struggle to kick into top gear here, but they've picked a very strong team comp, and one variable you can't control is that we have Clear Love on a very strong ganking jungler in Elise. And Thyak here, he's got the Elise, so he's got the Vi, who's very strong at level 6, but his ganking pressure much lower at lower levels. Now we might see a very late invade coming out here.
Yeah, delayed red. You do got a Blitzcrank. You should always expect an invade. That's going to be the rocket grab. Not. It did. It hit Thyak. It's going to get him real low. That's the exhaust and the ignite flash over from Wei Zhao. And the auto attack didn't hit. There it is. The first blood going the way of Wei Zhao. And almost like a very, very tense moment, because that was almost Thyak getting away out of that.
You noticed the auto attack animation started, but Thyak went out of range because of the lack of vision when you go around a corner there. It looked like a kill might have been lost there. Wei Zhao able to pick it up. Only one flash used on the side of World Elite, and first blood acquired.
Oh man, Porky could be in some trouble. He does get hit by the rocket grab as well, and that could have been like a really close double kill for Wei Zhao. If he had 2 kills at the 2-minute mark, this would have spelled disaster for Lyon Gaming. But at this point, I mean, Kennen, he was up top. He did get pushed around a little bit as well. He had to go back to base. Shyvana's hanging around in the back, just going to be chugging on her potion. But we have been talking a lot about Shyvana and her 2v1 potential, because once the creep waves start getting shoved under the tower, her burnout, her twin strikes, and her fireball is going to serve her extremely well.
Absolutely. When you push minions to the turret as Shyvana, you just have so much AoE wave clear that you're able to get more last hits than basically any other champion in a 1v2. You could say maybe Olaf will pick up a few more just because he's able to spam out that high damage undertow. But Shyvana, one of the strongest champions under the turret, hit level 2 here, so has access to ranged wave clear with her E ability, melee range clear with her burnout, very, very strong in a 1v2. It's Porky, but hooked again.
Now, I was going to say, Porky was playing extremely safe. He waited for the minions to come out, but Fizziv, he saw, if he takes one more step, I'm going to hook him, and that's exactly what he did, punishing the play here of Porky. And, you know, Porky could be in a lot of danger of a gank coming down here into a 3v1 situation, but we see Elise is nowhere there, but Thyak is going to come down, does have the blue, didn't get the red because it was stolen out after he died early game. He's not really going to be able to offer any kind of resistance down here.
So a 3-buff start for Elise, and I feel like a lot of that level 1 answered your question about whether World Elite was turned on for this game. If you're not turned on for a game, if you're not really feeling it, you don't go through an elaborate late invade level 1. You kind of just play defensively and let the enemy take the game to you. But World Elite, they took the game completely on their own here. We see Clearlove, he's still counter jungling on this Elise. This is his jungle, and Vi doesn't have many answers when faced with an Elise. She can't duel Elise early in the game. She doesn't have ultimate to put out anywhere near the same lane pressure. And you see here, Thyak's relegated to relieving some pressure from the bottom lane, whereas Elise, she has free reign over the map.
Yeah, she really does. She's going to be heading down to here into the bottom lane. I don't think we have a ward in that bush, so it could be a potentially disastrous fight for Lyon Gaming because Thyak is down here. He is level 4, so he is finally level 4, matching that of Clearlove. But Clearlove had a big level advantage going in not just seconds ago. Now look at Fizziv. He's positioning for that rocket grab into a cocoon. The question is he going to be able to execute this?
The flash is available here. The exhaust, 1 to 2 seconds off cooldown here. We could see something very difficult. I believe they know Elise is down here, so it's going to be very difficult from a World Elite perspective, but doesn't mean they're not going to try something.
Well, when you see behavioral changes in your laning opponents, you can probably assume that something is about to go down. And, you know, Fizziv going right up
now
there.
We see the minion waves are about to meet here, though, forecourt. It could be a turret dive 3v2. That'd be a bit optimistic, I think, from World Elite. Now, we see Elise, she backs off here. Going to at least take the big golem. But wow, we see that the top turret does fall here. Can't say the same thing about bottom lane here, despite all the pressure. The turret has not fallen for World Elite. Well,
we've actually been putting a lot of pressure up against Porky, and believe it or not, Kennen is actually getting the better of the farm. But there we go, the patience is gonna pay off as Thyak does drop to the second blood for Wei Zhao. He's sitting at 2-0-0, whereas our poor Vi player is at 0-2-0 herself.
And it looks like Elise is prioritizing Dragon over taking this bottom turret. You see the lane rotation is coming from Lyon Gaming here. Caitlyn and Sona going to the bottom lane here, so not going to be the answering turret here. They prioritize the Dragon over that turret, but they'll get the turret eventually, you'd have to think.
Yep, Dragons respawn, towers don't. So they can pick up a 6 to 7 minute Dragon. They're going to have not only the timer, but that extra global gold. And we're very likely to see a lane swap coming in. You see Caitlyn and Sona now going to the bottom lane. Kennen, however, has a really big creep advantage over top of Shyvana, and that's going to translate to levels as well. Shyvana, level 4. She had to share a lot of experience with Thyak, whereas Cal Mei is level 6.
Yeah, Xiao Mei is level 6 here. May even be able to bully out Shyvana, despite the fact that Shyvana usually able to shrug off most types of damage here. Hasn't been able to pick up a giant spell, didn't have enough CS for that. Only picked up the Doran Blade, which will help her CS, will help her CS the turret, as of course the AD does apply to the burnout. But Xiao Mei has a bit of kill pressure at level 6, especially if he freshly shops right now and goes for a kill when he gets back to lane.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Cal Mei hasn't actually done any shopping, but he has been pushing that creep advantage, putting up this pressure. It's still only the 1 tower to the 1 dragon, but still, I mean, World Elite, they have a 2,000 gold
Speaking of World Elite, Destiny's available.
And Destiny's going to be coming down into the bottom lane. Celia is going to just get ignored. The rocket grab goes on to the top of Ner'zhul, but can they actually follow this up into a kill for Celia for the double? It looks like they cannot. A little skeptical of that gold card into the rocket grab. I feel like maybe if they put it on top of Caitlyn, they might have actually been able to walk home with 2 for 0. But
I mean,
hey,
kill secured is still a very viable term here.
A kill is a kill.
If you ever try and get greedy and pick up 2 kills, sometimes you're left in a situation where you get none. So I don't mind that, you know, leaving Sia to back away there. But
and that pressure at bottom lane means because Destiny was up and they came down, they knew where where Vi was, and you just saw that the red buff got stolen out again.
I mean, Vi is basically completely irrelevant at this point, unfortunately, here. As I said, early pressure is not in her advantage. Also, the threat of Blitz roaming into her jungle makes it even scarier for Vi, even to clear her rates, let alone a red buff here and just getting abused so far.
This bottom lane is like the graveyard right now of Lyon Gaming because we have so much attention from World Elite down here. They got a pink ward there in the brush, so they know that they're not going to be seen, but they saw that the golems are going off, and they're going to be trying to take him back to really deny the farm here for Seiya. And they did get the big one, not the small. Now, Thyak, however, takes his opportunity to get his red, so that's good on him.
Yeah, credit to him to steal away the enemy red as well. So despite all the pressure, it's been very transparent that Elise is spending all her time on the bottom side of the map.
6 off that too.
And that's an important cooldown here. It's spotted by a ward here. Xiaomei is going to get away. There's no point chasing him away there. Too much range opened up there. So Thyak has level 6 here, but what can he do with it? I mean, Gragas in the mid lane is the obvious lane to gank here just because Gragas has a massive amount of burst damage, locking down Twisted Fate with just very low base stats into an explosive cask and that assault and battery. You have to think that's going to be a dead card master.
Well, the card master will survive for now. He is level 8. 3 kills going the way of Team World Elite, and they have equalized the towers. That bottom tower is non-existent. Uri was off getting his blue, and Thyak thinking about to get that assault and battery going, and just as he said, you know, get the dead card master, but the timing wasn't right, and we do got wards here from World Elite in Lyon Gaming's jungle, so they know where Vi is at all times. They're putting up extremes amount of pressure wherever Vi isn't, and I mean, look at this bottom lane. They're still pushing in against the next turret.
And at least, basically, she took a blue buff on left, but here comes the hook.
Yeah, Sona is going to have to flash out. Assault and battery goes down on top of Wei Xiao. That's going to be the barrier on top of things, but he goes for the kill on top of Nurjo, is going to grab it. Viziv has to do his best in order to let Wei Xiao get away, but Thyak thinking going over the wall with the vault breaking, going to go right into Messiah. Here comes Elise as well, double kill. All 5 kills right now are on this Lucian, and he has a Sheen. He's going for that Phage. We could see an extremely early Trinity force.
And I have to wonder what Gragas was doing, not being able to react first despite being closer in terms of map movement than Twisted Fate. But Twisted Fate, he got in there first, didn't even have to use Destiny, just walked up and was involved in the fight. Gragas, he has his cooldowns available, he has his explosive cask available, but he was nowhere to be seen.
That is a good point. I mean, didn't even have to Destiny back to the mid lane either. I was curious to see if Elise was going to try to do something there with Gragas, but I think they're just kind of content to let the fat man farm up. He is at 83 creep, so despite the roaming from Messiah, he is still out creeping Gragas.
And we see, look at this, we got a 5-0 and 0 Wei Xiao. All kills on Wei Xiao. It's not something that helped him out last game, but it's a very different game here. The issue last game was, despite the fact that we had a 5-1-1 Vayne just couldn't deal with all the tanky bruises that were all over her that game. She has only single target damage as Wei Xiao. You know, he's not content with 5 kills. He's got 6 now. Lucian's different. Lucian has AoE damage, which Vayne doesn't. And this Lucian, I mean, Trinity Force at under 10 minutes, I believe he completed that. He's got even more gold now. I mean, Wei Xiao is primed to carry if he ever has been.
He is definitely going to be putting the team on his shoulders and just kind of walking into 3rd place. Or at least that's what they want to do. Messiah kind of caught napping there in the lane, does get off the gold card on top of Uri, does stop out the explosive cast coming out, and has to use out that flash. Unsure really what he was actually doing right there, but you know, we saw Thyak coming in. I was going to say, if Thyak goes in there, he could actually find, you know, a Messiah, but Fury was there, and they had it all planned out. Fortunately, just did not work out.
It looked very questionable, but what Messiah likes to do when he's playing Twisted Fate is if he can ever push the lane, he likes to exit enemy vision, because then you send questions. The enemy team will have a good idea that Destiny is available now, and if you don't have any vision on Twisted Fate, you're always at pressure of the Destiny coming out and a gank happening in the side lane. So whether you're going to use that Destiny or not, stepping out of the minion wave works well. He got caught there, and so did Porky.
Yeah, Porky's going to get hit pretty much to death. From Clearlove actually is one to take home the kill, but Calumet locked him up extremely well with those charges of the storm, and that's probably going to be that top tower on top of things. Viziv and Wei Xiao got to be having to run out of this one, but the flashes defeat the explosive cask, and they're just going to go right back to farming.
Yeah, that was actually the dash from Wei Xiao and the flash from Blitzcrank, but that's the thing that people have learned as they've kind of worked against Gragas for so many patches in a row with so much Gragas players. We see a very aggressive Dragon coming out here. Waddley doesn't have anything. This Destiny will tell them, though.
Yeah, Destiny, they definitely know. Nurjuro going to be out of position as well. Gold card, Viziv going to knock him up. Wei Xiao picks up not the kill. It's going to be Messiah, but the Dragon did go to Vi, and a great Vault Breaker does get her out of the rocket grab's range. Uri's just going back to the mid. So they got the Dragon out of it. That's going to be a little bit of global gold in their pocket, but they've lost the top, and they lost Nurjul again. He's sitting at 0-4-0, and Sona, I mean, he has the Sight Stone, but how useful is he going to be?
Well, I guess from a Lyon Gaming perspective, they'll be happy that the majority of the deaths are on the jungler and the support. We're still on patch 3.13, where both those roles are the ones that are most starved of gold here. So they're going to be able to slowly build up to, you know, a Ruby Sight Stone, perhaps into an Aegis and an Ancient Golem on Vi's side. But, I mean, crucially here, Gragas has quite healthy CS, is down 20 CS. In fact, both their lanes down 20 CS here, which is a bit of an unfortunate situation, but they haven't died, crucially.
Clear Love with the Oracles, just doing a little bit of counter warding. A lot of wards have been placed in this bottom jungle. A lot of emphasis on invading Lyon Gaming, coming down to this bottom lane, and I mean 6-0-1 for Wei Xiao. It's clearly paid off. As
well, you would think that you think that an 80k with red buff was enough of a factor when it came to bottom lane here, but you look at Caitlyn, she's building up towards the Infinity Edge. She's gone for a very expensive purchase that we see again. Oh,
Nurjul, well, he did get off his crescendo to his credit. Ace of the Hogo, that does take down Messiah. So, I mean, a great turnaround here from Lyon Gaming. The flash over from Clear Love as well. That did not work for World Elite. Possibly a little bit arrogance coming in with that team.
But it was a very nice rotation by Porky there. You look, yes. Xiaomei still entrenched in the top lane here, still pushing out, still farming. Oh dear, Wei Xiao's on top of see ya.
The calling actually going to grab home a champion kill, and there goes Nurjul. Those rocket grabs are like heat-seeking on top of Sona. So one praise deserves another fall, I suppose. We're back up to 10-1 for World Elite, but we did get a kill on Messiah for Lyon Gaming. Oh, a little bit of a heart attack there.
And despite Porky's successful roam, look at the level discrepancy here between Porky and Xiaomei. Xiaomei is almost at level 12 here. Porky just pinged level 10, so a significant disadvantage. Their CS values 45 CS advantage. And look at this, freshly shopped has the Zhonya's Hourglass here, a massive purchase for Kennen.
Yeah, Kennen's going to be extremely safe with that Zhonya's. And, you know, it's a really good idea to pick up that Zhonya's early for Kennen because he has to get in and dirty with the Lightning Rush, with the Slicing Maelstrom. So it's a really good pickup for him. And it just also shows at the 15-minute mark how much gold World Elite actually has under their belt.
8,500 gold is the advantage here. A significant gold advantage for World Elite. We'd expect no less for such a strong team here. Lyon Gaming doing their best today. They seem to be outskilled by World Elite here, but Clear Love could be in trouble.
Yeah, he does not have that flash. There goes the Slicing Maelstrom. They're going to turn it back on top of Thyak. We have the Explosive Cast go off and the Rocket Grab, but it will eventually be Calmei taking home the kill. Porky trying to do his best with the tankiness. Rotation doesn't have any kind of armor, however, so it's not going to do that great against this mostly AD matchup right there. But Wei Xiao, even had she gotten away from all four of World Elite, Wei Xiao was ready to go right there and just pound home that kill. But 12-1, World Elite, they got all the buffs, they got all the kills, all the gold. It's a pretty big snowball right now.
I mean, Wei Xiao right now is a god, basically. Trinity Force has the Bilgewater cards working towards Play the Ruined King here. The one person who can look to deal with Wei Xiao and Lucian is Porky. Because once Shyvana gets tanky enough, once she finishes on him, looks like she finished the Spirit Visage first here, she's able to run at an enemy carry, and she's so fast and does so much base damage that she can hope to deal with an AD carry. But if you pick up Blade the Ruined King and sap away her movement speed, if she isn't able to close the distance, that is the one way you can deal with a Shyvana.
So we're pretty much on track here for Wei Xiao, picking up like a 20-minute Trinity and Blade of the Ruined King. That's pretty disgusting in terms of how much farm he actually does have. But 138 creeps on top of that. Fizziv looking for the grab. Nurjul actually did avoid it that round, but still the counter jungling and counter warding initiatives from World Elite are still affording them a lot of map control.
I mean, the snowball of that 3-buff start and the extra gold that Clear Love had was that very early Oracles. 10 minutes or so was the Oracles pick up on Elise. It just, all the pressure that was put towards bottom lane there meant that Vi couldn't have access to either her Wraiths, her Golems, or her red buff because there was no vision whatsoever despite the warding coming out. All the Oracles were helping, but Fizziv was in trouble.
Yeah, Fizziv was kind of just wandering around a little bit aimlessly, and he did get punished out there by Lyon Gaming. I was curious to see what kind of plays he's going to make with only Lucian there at his back. I mean, sure, the Destiny could have came in, but Kennen so far off, at least so far off, and eventually the robot just did beep boop die. 12-2, Lyon Gaming going to get a little bit of cash under their belt, but at the 17-minute mark, it's 11,000 gold, and wow, Seiya had no chance whatsoever there as Wei Zhao goes legendary. They're not done yet. The crescendo goes down, but it does not matter. The slicing maelstrom put a lot of damage on top of Yuri. The explosive cast not able to save his life. But all of a sudden, 3-for-0 exchange and very likely the next tower.
And so much turret pushing between the Blade of the Ruined King and the Lich Bane has of course been completed on Twisted Fate here. Turrets are not long for this world whatsoever. Look at Messiah's in a flanking position on Twisted Fate here. And then more kills coming, you'd have to think.
Yeah, there's the gold card and Thyak just getting murdered under that tower. Tower doesn't even exist anymore. Messiah able to clean up a lot of these waves. We still have 2 members dead here for Lyon Gaming, and that's going to just sound the charge here. Team World Elite is going to go straight for the next one. Another ward goes down, basically the Manor ward, right at that inhibitor, but there's nothing Lyon can do about it.
18-minute inhibitor comes out here. 16-2 is the kill advantage. 14k is the gold advantage. I mean, Lyon Gaming so impressive so far this tournament, but I think they've met their match in World Elite.
World Elite is in dominating form, almost a kill a minute, and we still can't even surrender at this point. I mean, we're about to hit the 19-minute mark. We have 8-0-4 score on Wei Zhao. He's finally going to go home. A little bit of a shopping speed, very likely to finish up that Blade of the Ruined King. And then, what, Last Whisper going to be coming up next? That seems to be the theme we've been going through this entire weekend.
And we see Infinity Edge is finally complete on Caitlyn, the first legendary tier item along with the Athene Tunnel, Holy Grail that's completed on the Lyon Gaming side. My issue with the Infinity Edge on Caitlyn is situations like this, where the game is kind of over before she's able to have an impact on the game. Bloodthirster, of course, it costs less, it's better for sieging and pushing a minion waves, and of course gives you that early life steal. You kind of need a Vamp Scepter on top of Infinity Edge to really have a similar stats to a Bloodthirster, and while Infinity Edge is incredible late game, this game's not going to go to late game forecourt.
Yeah, the late game's going to be the 20-minute mark when they surrender. I mean, that's as late as this game is going to get. So, yeah, you're totally right. And we do see that those discrepancies in and amongst the pro scene. Like, do you go for the Thirster? Do you go for the Infinity Edge? And you should really only go for the Infinity Edge when you have, like, those overwhelming numbers. You can get it super early. And we just didn't see that here from Caitlyn. So, you know, she might not have much of an impact, but Thyak is going to get impacted there by the culling. We got Elise just trying to catch up here to Porky. Gragas now going to come in, but the flash forward from Clear Love will keep him alive. Wei Zhao in the back. He's actually going to get shut down by the Gragas as the Destiny comes in. There's the slicing Maelstrom on top of things. The double kill going the way of Calme. What a rocket grab. Gets the triple there for our Kennen. And it looks like maybe a transition to either catch Sona or go to the Baron.
And it feels like the early Season 3 is rolling back the clock here, our World Elite. Kennen doing marvelously well, Twisted Fate rocking it out, and even the Blitzcrank support, all been super effective right here. The Baron will signal the beginning, the end, maybe even the sheer end for Lyon Gaming.
Well, it is going to be a best of 3, so they'll have one more chance to redeem themselves. Winner goes home with 10,000, almost at 10,000 gold, $10,000. Loser, unfortunately, just gets to enjoy another night here in China, but there goes the Baron. All 5 team members of World Elite are going to be picking that one up. We got a little bit of magic resist now on top of Wei Zhao. I guess he's really mad that he actually died.
Absolutely. I mean, look at that score, 8-1-5. Lost that legendary kill streak, did Wei Zhao here. Has the magic resist, doesn't need the Last Whisper because there's no armor items barring the Randuin's Omen, which is completed on Vi right here to really contend with. And it's some people like, I mean, look at Xiaomei here. He's gone for the Alacrity enchantment here, raw from the crowd here. That flash is going to be on such a short cooldown, which means that the flash ultimate engage from Xiaomei is a very real threat once again.
Another buff still going the way of Wei Zhao. He now has blue and Baron, looking extremely deadly here at the 21-minute mark. 19-3 and 16,000 gold going the way of Team World Elite. Dragon is up, but Messiah's just going to pick up his own blue, which means, again, buff control going the way of these Asian teams. It's been fairly immaculate this entire weekend. Doesn't matter if it's Hong Kong, China, Japan. It's just, they've been doing such flawless things here in League of Legends.
Messiah's made an interesting adjustment to his build. Usually we see the Lich Bane into the instant Zhonya's just to give him the potential to go for those ultimate into Zhonya's plays, affectionately known as the Messiah engages. But instead this time he's gone for the Deathfire Grasp just for a bit more burst damage when he gets into fights. He's not really worried about dying here. He knows that his team will be able to carry it forward if he's focus fired here. The split push is on. There's no one who can really deal with Twisted Fate. Xiaomei is so aggressive. He is zoning away people coming to help Messiah. And Messiah, with that Lich Bane, Twist of Fate trains down turrets as Fizz slightly misses that grab.
Yeah, Yuri came down here. I mean, great choice to put the Gragas in the bottom lane because he will be able to wave clear out. But I mean, the pressure coming in from Team Road Elite here on this top lane. They're going to get themselves another inhibitor. Doesn't really seem like there's anything that Lyon Gaming can do. They're about to lose all three, and they're not putting up a fight at all.
It's one of those situations where you kind of have to put out a fight if you want to have a realistic chance of winning the game, but just holding back, it delays the game that many seconds more, but doesn't really give you any chance to win.
Fizz missing the hook of his life right there. It's just like, Cocoon, check. Rocket Grab, miss. Okay, no problem. But, I mean, they got all three of those inhibitors. Lyon Gaming is basically in full retreat. The poke from Messiah, the poke from Cannon, the Rocket Grab potential is just way too much for them to deal with. And again, big item differences. Look at all the ultimates being blown out on top of World Elite. Nerjo's gonna drop. Xiaomei's about to take home that kill. Gragas is looking to get back into the safety of the fountain. And Porky almost going down as well. The Rocket Grab not able to grab the kills. But hey, they took home Cannon. Another kill to their name. But